All right, are you ready for this?
I think so.
Today, our deep dive takes us into, uh, well, pigs in a blanket.
Okay.
I know.
Sounds familiar.
It sounds like something you just whip up for like a quick snack,
Right.
but your source material hints at a whole world behind these little guys.
Interesting.
Techniques, global variations, even maybe some history.
It's true.
Really?
You'd be surprised how many cultures have their own take on wrapping sausages in dough.
Huh.
And the techniques for getting that perfect golden brown, flaky exterior.
Yeah.
There's actually a real science to it.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the classic American recipe. We've all seen it. Mini sausages tucked into crescent roll dough, baked until they're like irresistible.
Oh, yeah.
But I bet even with this basic recipe, there are tricks I'm missing.
Absolutely.
Like what?
Take the dough, for example.
Okay.
Most people just grab those ready-to-bake crescent rolls from the store.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But using cold dough is what helps create those irresistible flaky layers. What's going on there?
The fat in cold dough stays solid longer.
Oh,
And when it finally melts in the oven,
yeah.
it creates steam.
Okay.
That steam pushes those dough layers apart, giving you that perfect texture.
So that's the secret.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the sausages themselves matter too.
You bet. Like how?
One detail that often gets overlooked is making sure your sausages are completely dry before wrapping them.
Oh.
If they're even a little moist, blot them with a paper towel.
Interesting.
It helps the dough stick better,
Okay.
prevents it from getting soggy,
Yeah.
and leads to a crispier final result,
That's a game changer.
for sure.
I've definitely had my share of soggy pigs in a blanket disasters.
Oh, I bet.
But speaking of changing things up,
Yeah.
your sources mention some pretty wild variations.
Oh, yeah.
Cheese-filled, bacon-wrapped, puff pastry instead of crescent rolls.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
And it's not just about being fancy. These variations actually tie into some bigger culinary trends.
Oh, really?
There's this movement towards gourmet appetizers,
Okay.
taking those classic comfort foods
Right.
and elevating them with interesting ingredients and global influences.
Mm,
Think about it. Fusion cuisine is huge right now.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And it seems like anything goes.
Totally.
One of the sources talks about these spicy pigs in a blanket where you add a touch of sriracha or spicy mustard to the mix.
Mm.
Imagine that. You bite into this warm, buttery dough,
Yeah.
get that savory sausage, and then bam,
Whoa.
that slow burn of sriracha hits you.
Now, it's a flavor combination that would wake up your taste buds.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how a simple ingredient can completely transform a familiar dish.
Right.
And speaking of transformations, let's not forget about presentation.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's not just about the taste.
Hmm.
It's about how those pigs in a blanket look on the plate.
Absolutely.
I'm picturing a beautiful wooden serving board piled high with these golden brown beauties.
I like it.
All sorts of dipping sauces artfully arranged around them.
Nice.
Or maybe some elegant skewers perfect for easy grabbing at a party.
It all goes back to the social aspect of food, you know?
Yeah.
A well-presented dish invites people in, sparks conversation, creates a more engaging experience.
I see.
It can turn a simple snack into something truly special.
And speaking of special, let's not forget the all-important dipping sauces.
Oh, yes.
Some people stick with the classics like ketchup and mustard,
Right.
but your sources suggest branching out.
Okay.
There's spicy mayo, melty cheese sauce, even honey mustard.
Interesting.
Now, honey mustard with a savory pig in a blanket?
Mm.
That's a pairing I could get behind.
And that's where things get really interesting.
How so?
Even something as simple as a dipping sauce can reveal a lot about cultural preferences.
Oh, really?
In Japan, for instance, tonkatsu sauce,
Okay.
with its tangy, savory flavor,
Yeah.
is a popular choice for dipping all sorts of fried foods.
Huh.
While in Argentina, a vibrant herbaceous chimichurri sauce might be the perfect accompaniment.
Wow.
It all comes down to local flavors and traditions.
Wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
Just goes to show there's always something new to discover, even with a dish as familiar as pigs in a blanket.
absolutely.
So we've covered the classic recipe, explored some delicious variations, and even touched on the art of presentation and the global world of dipping sauces.
Right.
But we're just getting started.
Right.
There's so much more to uncover.
Let's do it. You know, it's fascinating
What's that?
how something so seemingly simple can connect us to broader culinary trends and cultural variations.
Absolutely. It's like we've stumbled upon a secret portal to global cuisine through these little sausages and blankets.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
let's not forget about the historical aspect.
Oh, right.
Your source material hints at the possibility that pigs in a blanket have been around for centuries, potentially dating back to ancient Rome.
Wait, really? Ancient Rome. I never would have guessed.
There's evidence suggesting that Roman cooks would wrap sausages in dough
Okay.
as a convenient and portable way to eat them.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder if they had their own version of a Super Bowl party
Huh.
with platters of these ancient pigs in a blanket.
Huh. That's a great image. So from ancient Rome to modern day potlucks,
Right.
it seems like pigs in a blanket have always had a place at the table.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And their enduring popularity speaks volumes about their versatility and deliciousness.
Totally.
But let's go back to those techniques for a moment.
Got
We
it.
talked about cold dough,
Right.
but your source material emphasizes another crucial tip. Don't overcrowd the baking sheet.
Ah, yes. I've definitely been guilty of cramming too many onto a sheet trying to bake them all at once.
I know, right?
So what's the reasoning behind that?
Spacing them out ensures even cooking.
Oh, okay.
If they're too close together, the heat can't circulate properly,
Yeah.
leading to some pigs in a blanket that are golden brown.
Right.
And others that are still pale and doughy.
So good airflow is key.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing baking time is something to watch carefully, too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Ovens can vary,
Okay.
and you don't want to end up with burnt off rings.
Right.
The source material suggests checking them around the 12-minute mark
Okay.
and adjusting the baking time accordingly.
Gotcha.
You're looking for that beautiful golden brown color and a nice crispy texture.
It's all about that visual cue.
Right.
Golden brown means deliciousness. You know, it's amazing how much attention to detail goes into perfecting even a simple dish like this.
And that's what makes cooking so rewarding.
I agree.
It's a combination of art and science, creativity and precision.
I like that.
But speaking of creativity,
Yeah.
your source material dives into some truly unique variations that I think our listener would love to hear about.
Oh, I'm all ears. Spill the beans, or should I say unwrap the sausages?
Uh-huh.
What kind of creative twists did you find?
One variation that caught my eye was the everything bagel pigs in a blanket.
Okay.
It involves brushing the dough with melted butter and then sprinkling it with everything bagel seasoning before baking.
Okay, stop right there. That sounds amazing. I can already imagine that savory, garlicky flavor with the buttery dough and sausage. It's like breakfast and appetizers all rolled into one.
And for those who love a bit of sweetness with their savory,
Yeah.
there's a recipe for maple glazed pigs in a blanket.
Mm.
It uses a simple glaze made with maple syrup and Dijon mustard,
Okay.
brushed over the sausages before baking.
Now that's a flavor combination I'd never have thought of, but it sounds incredible.
It is.
The sweetness of the maple syrup with the tangy mustard and savory sausage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely adding that one to my must-try list.
It's amazing how a simple twist can completely elevate a classic dish.
Right.
And it's a reminder that there's always room for experimentation in the kitchen.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about this deep dive.
What's that?
It's not just about learning about pigs in a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
It's about igniting that culinary spark and encouraging people to get creative with their cooking.
Exactly. And I think we've given our listener a great foundation to do just that.
I think so, too.
We've explored techniques,
Right.
variations,
Yeah.
cultural connections, and even a bit of history.
I agree.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
there's one more essential aspect of pigs in a blanket that we need to cover: storage and reheating.
Oh, right. Because let's be honest, sometimes we make a big batch
For sure.
and have some leftover deliciousness to enjoy later.
Exactly.
What are the best practices for keeping those pigs in a blanket fresh and tasty?
Your source material recommends storing any leftovers in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days.
Okay.
This helps to maintain their texture and prevent them from drying out.
Makes sense. And what about reheating?
Yeah.
Is the oven the way to go?
For optimal results, the source material suggests popping them back in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 to 7 minutes. This helps to re-crisp the dough and warm the sausages through.
Perfect. So we've covered every angle
It looks like it.
from the first bite to the last. It's been a wild ride through the unexpectedly fascinating world of pigs in a blanket.
And who knew that something so seemingly simple
I know, right?
could have such depth and complexity?
It just goes to show that there's always something new to learn, even about the most familiar foods.
Absolutely.
I think that's wonderful advice.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun going on this deep dive with you.
Me too.
I know I've learned a ton, and I bet our listener has too.
Hopefully.
Who knew there was so much to uncover about pigs in a blanket?
It's amazing what you can find when you take a closer look at something familiar, isn't it?
Right.
We've explored everything from the basic techniques to
Yeah.
those gourmet twists,
Hmm.
and even uncovered some history and cultural connections along the way.
And let's not forget those dipping sauces.
Oh, right, the sauces.
We've talked about everything from classic ketchup and mustard to more adventurous options like spicy mayo and that tangy tonkatsu sauce.
It's all about finding what you love
Yeah.
and what complements those flavors you're creating.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to personal taste.
Exactly. And that's what I love about cooking.
What's that?
It's a form of self-expression.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You can take a simple concept like a pig in a blanket
Yeah,
and really make it your own.
I couldn't agree more.
Right.
So to our listener, as you embark on your own pig in a blanket adventures,
Okay.
remember to have fun, experiment, and don't be afraid to break the mold.
Yeah, break the mold. Maybe you'll discover a flavor combination that will become a new classic.
It could happen.
Who knows? Maybe someday we'll be doing a deep dive on your signature pig in a blanket recipe.
Now that's a deep dive I'd love to take.
Right.
But until then, we hope this episode has given you a newfound appreciation for this surprisingly versatile and delicious appetizer.
It's been a real treat exploring the world of pigs in a blanket with you.
Likewise.
And, what was I going to say? Aha! I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And remember, no matter how you choose to prepare them, those little bundles of joy are sure to bring smiles to faces around the table.
That's the truth.
Thanks for joining us on this delicious journey.
Until next time, happy cooking.